But Jim, on the topic of support,
yes.
Can we talk before? I know we got Dynamite coming up. Can we talk about the star ratings? We just reviewed AEW Dynasty from Philadelphia. It's fresh on my mind still. And I just got this morning's Wrestling Observer newsletter. I made sure to
now you want to see, after we've said what we said, you want to see if Uncle Dave agrees with us now at this point.
You got to figure at some point there'll be a meeting in the middle, as opposed to him being on a scale that ends in infinity, which just it keeps going out there into the distance. Maybe that explains a lot.
I think Dave is an AEW supporter, and that's another word for a jockstrap, and I think that's what the service that he's performing here.
Well, of course, AEW Dynasty, Jim, you did not watch much of the pre-show from what I remember. Nick Wayne, Action Andretti, and Leo Rush defeated Dante and Darius Martin, known as Top Flight, and AR Fox, 11 minutes, 17 seconds, 4 1/4 stars. Now, for the record, you didn't see it. It was a exciting match, and Layla Gray looked amazing at ringside. I say that.
I'm sure she did.
That's a star right there.
How does this get a fucking higher rating than Gone with the Wind in the fucking official movie rating book? Right? What? Again, this used to be Flair and Steamboat numbers. This was reserved for the piece de resistance instead of the piece de pie face of the. Okay, yeah, the pre-show match was Kurt Angle-like in its intensity.
Well, again, for the record, you didn't see it. Match 2, Anthony Bowens defeated Max Caster, 40 seconds. No star rating given.
Well, now why leave them out? What did it accomplish? What it was supposed to accomplish? It's not about the star rating is not graded with or concurrent on or whatever, dependent on the time of the match. You can have a stinker that goes 45 minutes or a fucking barn burner that goes 6. So what of the presentation that they was supposed to do there? How was it? See, he's slacking in his goddamn duties.
Well, we go now to the main card. Will Ospreay defeated Kevin Knight, 13 minutes, 50 seconds, 4 1/2 stars.
Again, the way you can look at this is we're entering like Undertaker and Shawn Michaels level of match rating, but at the same time, you can also say that Will Ospreay, their top babyface, against one of their new baby faces for little or any good purpose, was only 1/4 star better than the fucking 8-man scrambled eggs pre-show match. Which makes better sense?
You know, every show for Dave is like a male dream slam. Remember when All Japan Women had like a 6-hour show, every match was 5 stars? Every AEW show is like his dream slam.
Actually, thankfully, Brian, I don't remember that. And my life is better for it.
Well, Jim, the next match, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, the Hurt Syndicate, defeated Big Bill and Brian Keith, 10 minutes, 28 seconds, 2 1/2 stars.
Whoa! Dave must be moonlighting as the president of the Brian Keith fan club. He didn't like that one.
You know what he wrote here at the end? He describes a little bit about what happened when MJF got involved. It was fine. All right, it's a new one. Mercedes Moné defeated Julia Hart, 12 minutes, 55 seconds. Once again, 2 1/2 stars.
Okay, now, obviously, we said that the Hurt Syndicate match was a TV match with a TV angle at the end, but nobody, took a shit and wiped their face in it in the middle of the ring, but it was the same as the awkward ladies match that followed that. Because I guess 2 1/2, is that now his dud? Can you get lower than 2 1/2 unless you wipe the feces on your face?
Well, we shall find out. Jim, speaking of feces.
Hey, there's old feces face.
Wheeler Yuta, Pac,
there he is,
and Claudio Castagnoli defeated FTR and Adam Copeland, 14 minutes, 53 seconds, 4 1/2 stars.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What did he give Was it 5 stars or was it 4 3/4 perhaps that he gave FTR and Juice and old light switch Jay White a couple of years ago that had the greatest tag team match of modern times?
It was at least 5
And
stars. It may have actually gone past it, but I don't know.
I don't know, but it wasn't this, dog. Isn't that what they say? It wasn't this, dog.
Well, and it says 14 minutes, 53 seconds. Maybe that's what he did. Because the match felt like it was double the length, he doubled the star rating. It was 2 stars. It became 4.5.
They had sex and procreated, the stars did, during the length of this contest.
Jim, Timeless Tony Storm defeated Megan Bayne, 15 minutes, 24 seconds, 4-star match.
Okay. Again, even if you like all of the participants and you like everything in the world, and potentially you're on some form of liquid ecstasy, I don't know. This is the same guy that would award an all-time classic 4 stars in his previous life before he lost his mind. But now suddenly this is morphed into, well, they get 4 stars because it can be more stars. He established something, but now he's so afraid of hurting these people's feelings that he just starts making up that more stars is fine. And they feel good because they got 4 stars from the teacher.
Well, Jim, the next match, Kyle Fletcher defeated Mark Briscoe, 16 minutes, 11 seconds.
I thought you were going to say 16 stars.
4 3/4 stars.
Okay, what was the girls' match a second ago?
4 stars.
Okay, so again, you're saying that I agree with you. Kyle and Briscoe was much better than Storm and Drung or whatever the fuck. But it has to still be in the 4-star range. It's just now levels of excellence that he bestows upon them.
I almost wonder what you said before is 2.5 dud. Is 4 like the baseline, and anything under 4 is in negative stars? Like, is 2.5 stars now Dave's negative 2 stars 15 years ago?
Wait a minute. That's what he's doing. Brian, you figured it out accidentally. He's on a Celsius. He's on a Celsius star rating.
Maybe so.
See, you got to translate it to the Fahrenheit.
Well, Jim, for the Ring of Honor title, Bandito defeated Chris Jericho, the Frito Bandito, in 16 minutes, 22 seconds.
Good Lord.
3 1/4 stars.
I don't know. Maybe that's the new dud. He'll kind of halfway be honest about Jericho's desiccated corpse and give him only 3.5, which, is kind of still a kind of backhanded slap.
Well, Jim, in 15 minutes and 34 seconds of a no time limit, everyone barred from ringside match, or as we used to call it, a match, Adam Cole won the TNT title from Daniel Garcia. 3 1/4 stars.
Ooh. So again, there he's having to begrudgingly admit that it ain't happening here. See, now he's establishing a pattern. These are the people that only are above average should feel slighted.
Kenny Omega defeated Ricochet and Speedball Mike Bailey, 30 minutes, 56 seconds.
Jesus Christ.
4 3/4 stars. And actually, on this topic, I have not heard this, but I see Meltzer.
Well, and by the way, hold on a second now. I really think that should be a different score, Brian, because in that match in particular, with those participants, they should have scored this under the Olympic method, with the 9.0 and a 9.1 and 9.2 and give it a perfect 10. Or maybe he wants to back off and just make it a 9.8 so nobody will accuse him of favoritism, but still it shouldn't be just a standard 4 3/4 like the mere mortals that aren't stars of their own video game.
Well, I was going to say before, the Meltzer Said What account, Jim, tweeted out a couple of things. One of them apparently are some of the guys who go to Dave's pay-per-view parties at his house saying that he got mad when they were laughing at some of the silly stuff in the match.
Oh, good God.
Because he was taking it very seriously. But here's some audio. Let's see what this is. I have not heard this. Tweeted out by Meltzer Said What. Here's what he wrote. Jesus Christ. Meltzer has now proclaimed the AEW Dynasty triple threat match with Kenny, Ricochet, and Speedboat as one of the greatest three-ways in the history of wrestling. North Korean propaganda has nothing on Uncle Dave. Let's hear what this is.
We just had a pay-per-view on Sunday night. And usually you hype like this pay-per-view was great, buy the replay. I mean, they may have mentioned that, but I do not recall anything that got me to where like, oh man, I need to see this replay. And like,
and he clearly loved the entire fucking thing, so that says something.
But besides that, he's already fucking seen it. Why does he have to see the replay?
Is the replay more for people who have already seen it or for people that missed it?
I would think it's for people that missed it. Oh, you missed it? Well, now you can get it. Instead of, oh, you've already seen it? Well, watch it again. What, to pay for it again? Is that a large segment of the audience?
I'm not sure. Let's go back to this audio here.
Focused on, because there was like strong stuff. I mean, there's the hit, the significance of the finish of the main event, with the Young Bucks return and all that. The three-way was, one of the better three-way matches in the history of wrestling. It was fantastic.
All right, let's stop there for a second. We watched it. It went a while. Again, there was some stuff that looked ridiculous in it. You promoted some of the first three-way matches in this country. We've seen good ones and bad ones. Was that one of the best ever?
No, of course not. Because, and again, I'm not going to say, oh, and mine were, when the Dirty White Boy wrestled Tracy. No, but when you think about, to be honest, before they were again prostituted out and worn down and made just blasé and everyday, some of the three ways that went on those WWF pay-per-views in the late 90s, Taker and Michaels and whoever the fuck else, I would go for that, or I'd go for some of the modern TNA stuff or whatever if people, had that in their mind. But all of those incidents, you had stars involved. This is, again, because Dave has gone out of his mind to fetishize these gymnasts and the cheerleading alley-oop routines and the, oh my gosh, and ignore the fact that most of this stuff, again, looks phony as fuck. There's no good reason to be doing it. There's no good reason to have the match. There's no story. There's no angle. There's no seeking retribution or triumph or whatever. It's just, oh gosh, here's a bunch of fucking guys that do spots that are going to get together and vault with each other. And that in Dave's mind is, at the same time, he'll say, but you need story in wrestling. And he's looking at the other company making a bloody fucking fortune, going in exactly the opposite direction and doing as little as possible. And he still can't get it. Not everybody is sitting there beating off on the fucking 3 cartwheels into a goddamn have a Corona over the fucking top rope. And people are getting hurt on simpler shit than that because they're rushing and doing so much. But that's a story for later on.
Let's go back to this audio from, Wrestling Observer Radio.
Fletcher and Briscoe. The tournament matches, the Will Ospreay match, Mercedes match. I mean, there's, the different championship matches up and down, Tony Storm, Megan Bayne, which was a great match. I mean, they really should have, we had another great pay-per-view because it's like, people buy these things for the next 2 weeks, especially the first week out. And it was almost like they gave up on this one for whatever reason, rather than tried to get late buys and tried to hype it after the fact. Because did they do anything like, did the announcers ever talk about how great the three-way was? Because that should have been the main selling point is this three-way is one of the best three-ways of all time, and you got to see it to believe it. 30 minutes and blah, blah, blah. And I don't recall them doing that. And when Kenny was out, he didn't talk about the match at all. Because
it was a throwaway match. That's what you don't seem to get there. You gave it a bunch of stars, but it was a throwaway match.
He probably shouldn't have, because his focus should be on the future thing. But the announcers, there should have been. They showed clips of the pay-per-view, but I don't think they did any hard sells to buy the pay-per-view, which was another thing that was kind of like, I'm watching the show going like, why aren't you talking about the pay-per-view that just happened? WWE would have these freaking newspaper, and website clippings on the top and hyping like they missed this and everything like that. And AEW just kind of nothing on that. And it was.
You missed Hong Kong Phooey in his greatest moment.
Lots of things happened. The greatest three-way match in wrestling history. It's not going to really sell any pay-per-views, I don't think. But let's go back. We have one last match here, Jim. Jon Moxley defeated Swerve Strickland 31 minutes, 28 seconds, 3 3/4 stars.
Oh, see, now he's straddling the middle. He thinks some people really like this, but some people really hated this, and I don't want to alienate any of the rest of my dwindling fucking audience that I have sway over, so I'm going to put it in the middle because it's controversy. Jiminy Christmas.
And obviously from that audio, he thought this was just one of the great pay-per-views. Everyone should go out of their way to see it. It didn't feel that way watching it.
And again, I'm sorry, but they do so much that they invariably have so many fucking fumfers and flummoxes that, I'm just used to looking. I'm sorry, I apologize. I was trained to look at talent with a major league eye. If you can get all the way through your dance routine without slipping and busting your ass, then I will give you more points than if you goddamn did 14 pirouettes and then fucking blew explosive diarrhea in the judge's direction. I think I've made my point abundantly clear.
I don't care if he really is a black belt. Speedball Bailey doing a move where he just jumps and does a kick from one side to the other, back and forth, back and forth. It's a funny looking thing. It doesn't look like he's really kicking the shit out of him. It looks like he's learned some kind of dance that'll be at Lincoln Center this fall.
Yes, Nureyev would be proud, but not fucking Emelianenko.
Well, Meltzeranko really liked the pay-per-view, and those are the star ratings from the Wrestling Observer for AEW Dynasty.